It's a new month, it's a new season, and we're going out the old door with a new backyard. Everything's changing, everything's in flux all the time. Racers, start your engines. Are we ready to go in 3, 2, 1? We're off into a new season. Climatological or meteorological springtime, March 1st. Rabbit, rabbit. Where are the rabbits? I don't see any rabbits. What do I see? I see 43 or 44 degrees here on March 1st in North Weymouth, Massachusetts. And buckle up. We are in for a rough ride. We talked about earlier in the week that there were going to be about 6 weather systems coming at us within a 10-day period. And weather systems number 4 and 5 are happening simultaneously today. It was tough to find a place snowing this morning. The webcams mostly showed the new snow on the ground, but it did snow. Yesterday, Carl Weller shared this with the sunshine in between systems and returned to Stowe. He says, snowbanks keep getting bigger and I'm shoveling again. That was yesterday. And then today, the same walkway needed to be shoveled again. There were about 2 or 3 inches of snow again last night that ended in the pre-dawn. So thank you, Carl. This is day 61 in a row with snow somewhere in New England. And boy, do we have a wild day ahead today in the Northeast and Southeastern Canada. All right, let's do the ice bucket. No ice, just water. Tomorrow morning, that'll be different. The glacier's just about gone here. So, TK, why are you not skiing? Well, in case you're just tuning in, first time in a while, this is why I'm not skiing, because this is going on in the backyard and monitoring the progress. Now, that's all town property, so this is all happening town property, but it's adjacent to ours, and there's what happened yesterday. The blocks got laid. I think I counted about 13, 14 blocks. We'll see that and then end more with maybe 1 to go, and then it's going to taper up into more narrow blocks. So ongoing construction, and we got to sleep a little late today because they don't work on Saturday and Sunday. A hard-working crew, though, and look at that. There's the old glacier that they covered underneath there. So what's happening this morning? There's a pretty strong low-pressure system over southeastern Canada, and there's both a polar front and an Arctic front coming across New England this morning. There was a warm front in southern New England last night. Actually, a few raindrops trying to come out of these clouds. All right, let's start off with the temperature behind the low-pressure system that's going to be crossing. And this morning at Lake Huron, there's a buoy out there, 11 degrees, and the wind is gusting to 47 miles per hour. That air is rushing into New England late today, tonight, and here tomorrow. Pure Arctic air, March style. So I would say March is coming in like a lion. And then if you move over to Highgate, Vermont, it's 40 degrees on the east side of the front. And then there's a bit of a warm front right over the Green Mountains, and it's 27 degrees in Island Pond, Vermont this morning. And in southern New England, the red numbers are wind gusts. In southern New England, we're already at 45 degrees with a wind from the south gusting 25 to 35 miles an hour. It is a strong low-pressure system that's crossing southeastern Canada. And here is the radar. You can almost make out the cyclonic flow with the spin, with those snow showers on the backside of the low, and then the snow from last night lifting out of northern Maine, and some rain and snow showers on the front that's going to be ripping across New England today. This morning, a little bit more of empirical evidence. That's what you see out your door. This is Sean Vecchione looking out his door this morning at Jay Peak, where he says, at Jay Peak, there's no wind this morning. But on the other side of the mountain, on the other side of the mountain from Sean, Josh Worth says it's blowing like crazy from the southeast. He's shoveling snow to get out the door this morning. He picked up about 3 inches last night in Montgomery. I don't have any video of that, but so squirrely is the wind forecast today. Wind is going to have an impact, I think, on the the lifts in New England. Mount Washington is not that windy, though. Mount Washington's only sustained about only 35 miles an hour. So it has to do with sort of the shapes of the ravines and stuff where the air funnels through. A place like Cannon Mountain, like we talked about a couple days ago, Cannon could have some real serious issues with the southeast wind, and then the wind is going to let up for a time when that low goes right over us, and then it's going to pick back up. All right, so let's look at the let's free Steve here first. Let Steve go a little farther. How far do I want to let Steve go, though? Now that it's not covered in snow and ice, Steve may try and take off. So I guess I can come down here into the construction zone and see that there's not much in my gauge. I'm going to clean that gauge a little bit. And you can't leave your rain gauge out when it's going to be icy, so that's why there's just the cylinder there. All right, I've secured Steve. Now let's go to the NAM song sparrow. I heard the first song sparrow this morning at 5:50. That's what wakes me up, the song sparrows. I just hear it. I'm not sleeping. I've already slept 8 hours. So NAM 3K, sorry. Here it is with a strong low going across. Looks like just through southeastern Canada, then cutting right across Maine, and it is around a 990 low, and those are snow showers and rain showers, and so it's going to be a snow squall or a rain squall changing to a snow squall midday, western New England, and it's not going to last long, but there'll be brief, intense bursts of wind with rapidly falling temperatures. Let's stop it at 5 o'clock, and you can see the low. It looks like it's just east of Mount Washington, strong low, and a couple of bands of what looks like first a rain shower and then a snow squall reaching all the way down into eastern Massachusetts. So we could be somewhere around 45 or 50 degrees in Boston when this squall comes in. It's going to be very dramatic. And then the temperature is going to go down about 20 degrees in just a couple of hours, and higher elevations may end up with icy roads this evening. Certainly the mountain roads are going to be really icy. And because there's warm enough air there that there's almost a mix before that happens. Oh, man. All right, time out. Look what Steve has done. He's walked through that. Oh, boy. Sorry. It's all fun, right? I'm going to undo him there and let Steve go over to the edge. And that's it. That's as far as you're going, Steve. I want to go see over the edge what Steve sees. I mean, all this is going to be in more in a little while. Yeah, you going to go down there? No, you're not. Stay. Steve, no. All right, see you later. You're not going down there. NAM 3K, pick it up at 5 o'clock tonight. That low barrels across Maine. The temperature falls rapidly. The wind picks up. This is Arctic air coming in. This is no joke air. It's almost close to record cold air coming in for tomorrow. And Monday morning may have some record low temperatures in the order of 10 to 15 degrees below zero. The problem tomorrow is it's going to be windy. It's going to be a harsh day on the ski slopes. Hardly March weather that you like to look forward to. It's going to be a rough one. And the 504 line is in there. It may not snow in New England tomorrow morning, but that 504 means business. At that 504, temperatures, even the lower elevations, are going to struggle to get above 0 degrees tomorrow afternoon. So this is a real strong dose of early spring, meteorological spring cold. Steve decided to go the other way. So we're going to use the GFS again this morning. The Euro has been wonky. If you go to Pivotal Weather and look at the Euro, it has some crazy storm coming in here on Thursday, and looks like a blizzard in the Gulf of Maine. It's crazy. And what had Euro showed a big snowstorm for next weekend. It's not even there anymore, but the GFS has been consistent. I didn't look at the Canadian. Steve, he wants to go down there so bad. I don't think so. So we're on the edge of the worm farm here, and then there's a big cliff that's a double diamond jump, and I'm going to show the GFS, and we'll see where Steve is when I'm done with that. So here's the GFS showing the storm going across southeastern Canada. The Arctic front whips through here tonight, and tomorrow we have a 990 and deepening low exiting stage right, 1027 Arctic high pressure system coming into the Great Lakes. It's windy, it's cold, almost as cold as any day we've had all year, all winter long. And then on Monday, that high comes right over us. The wind goes calm. It's a radiational cooling morning on Monday, and it's going to rebound all the way up into the 20s and 30s. Rapid fire changes. And we watch a storm coming out of the Rockies into the Great Lakes. and what looked like maybe some snow on Tuesday, and it looks like just sort of a dry, warm front going by. So all of a sudden we're back to the 30s and 40s on Tuesday, and then it's Tuesday night and Wednesday. We have the real warm front coming in here with a period of red that's freezing rain inland and rain briefly Tuesday night, early Wednesday, and then green is rain, and we have the low tracking to our west. On the backside of that low, maybe a blizzard there in Minnesota and northern Michigan. There's another real batch of cold behind that, or maybe it's the same batch of cold, but we're just punching through it with this storm with the green and the yellow. Rain and thunderstorms here Wednesday, especially afternoon at night. Probably the fact that it's moving pretty quickly. Earlier I said it might rain hard for 24 hours. Now it looks more like 18 hours with the heavy rain. And then bagginess in the isobars there on Thursday morning. The wind may go light after being almost storm force from the south. And then it's going to pick back up from the north and west. And all of a sudden we have more snow squalls coming across New England on Thursday afternoon, Thursday night. There's a negative tilt trough going south of us, and there may be an ocean storm forming. If the Euro is right, it's off the charts ocean storm, but GFS is just saying, it's going to form after it goes by. And then again, like clockwork, it's windy and cold next Friday. That's happened almost every Friday for the last 5 weeks, just like yesterday. It wasn't that cold in southern New England, but it looks colder for next Friday than it did yesterday in yesterday's real weather. And then over the weekend, here comes a low coming out of the southern states and a low coming at us from southeastern Canada, a wave on an Arctic front, and slow it down and stop it here next Sunday. Oh my goodness, this has been the theme of our winter, hasn't it? Where we have a snowstorm missing us to the south in southern New England. Oh my goodness, this is sort of like what the Euro had yesterday, but we used the GFS yesterday, and I talked about how there's a storm to our north and there was a storm to our south. Yesterday, the storm to the north was stronger. Today, the storm to the south is stronger. So this is where we're waffling on next weekend using the GFS, but it's more consistent than the other guidance. And so that's next Sunday. That would be more snow around Virginia, and we would just be cold here with another front coming at us from the north. Now, if these two systems phase, we're looking at a real big-time March-type storm. Either way, something's going to happen again next Saturday, Sunday, put it back into motion. And now we're going out to Monday, March 10th, and there is a wave on an Arctic front yet again. And we stop it here at 240 hours as we do, because you'd only want to blow a 10-day forecast. You don't want to blow a 10 to 15-day forecast because they're almost useless, the guidance products after that. And what we see there is a 498 closed low in Ontario and Quebec. That is another sort of wayward polar vortex coming in. This is now the middle of the second week of March, with New England having snow showers and snow squalls and more energy upstream. So it looks like we could beware the Ides of March. The pattern is locked and loaded. Canada's just full of cold and these warm intrusions coming at us. It seems like the only time it really gets warm around here in southern New England is in time to make it rain. So it's going to be a really interesting day. I'm not going far today. I think I'm going to stick around and make some time lapse of that squall when it comes in around sunset. That could be interesting. And we'll wake up to probably ice in the bucket tomorrow. All right, Steve did not go over to Edge. Good choice, Steve. I think that's the end of the weather. Oh, you probably want to see the coast-to-coast snowfall forecast, which I haven't even looked at. So I'm going to play it here, and I can almost tell you what's going on. There's blue adding up in northern New England, and there's not much going on in southern New England. You have new systems coming across from the Pacific Ocean. It's going to be week 20 in a row of coast-to-coast North America snow. And not much going on in New England Monday, Tuesday. And then you get to Wednesday, Thursday. There's the snowstorm going up from, looks like probably northern Nebraska. I'm just guessing now, up into the UP of Michigan, then on into Ontario and Quebec. The snow depth in Quebec, by the way, is kind of off the charts. All these storms have been nailing southeastern Canada. And then there's that snow going across and missing us to the south next weekend. Yeah, right. Sure, that's going to happen. Do you believe that, T-Rex? Do you believe that, T-Rex? Yawn, boring. I wipe the sleepies out of your eyes every morning, and then somehow we come out and the sleepies are back. Yeah. All right. Now that really is the end of the weather part. So the end more part yesterday, these precision heavy equipment operators laying block, coming by the corner of the house by inches, and when they were kind of coming along the tracks that propel the excavators were actually moving these huge concourse crane mats. Remember when they put them down, we were covered with ice, so this thing was just sliding back and forth. But they didn't miss a beat, and they did a bang-up job yesterday. Just tremendous. So here are the highlights. Oh, yes, and I forgot the yesterday's guests. Every day we have some new guests come by and say hello. And yesterday, oh, sorry, I can't remember. Soldier Flaherty. It's either Paul or Peter. Soldier. A great story. And Mary, stopping by to say hello. That was quite a treat, and very nice to meet you. And thanks for stopping in and saying hello. Very friendly, and everybody's curious about what's going on here, including all of us that live here. It's quite a spectacle. All right, here's the Enmore. Oh, yeah, I forgot. There's a sled dog race beginning today. I want to talk about that. The Iditarod, the last great race. There's a ceremonial start today in Anchorage, Alaska. And there's a New England native, Bailey Vetto, only 27 years old. So a ceremonial start in Anchorage, and then they moved the whole teams 260 miles to Fairbanks for the official start of the Iditarod. I think there are about 34 mushers. The official start is on Monday, and we'll monitor that too. You go, Bailey, and all the mushers, and we'll be just mushing along here in New England. Okay, here's the Enmore from yesterday. And here comes the cold air advection cloud, believe it or not, even though it's beautiful, sunny. And it's about 8:30 in the morning here on the last day of February. And the conveyor system is taken down and the blocks are beginning to arrive. Bucket loader just came by. I missed the first delivery. Those things weigh 7,600 pounds a piece. Luciano, that's his first name. There we go. Getting airborne. While we're here, the last of the spring snow, well, last of the winter snowpack left over on the last day of meteorological winter. Oh, interesting. Even though we didn't get below freezing last night, there was a little radiational cooling and there's a little bit of ice. And then there's the last, whoa, I almost fell down. There's the last of our natural winter snowpack. So any other snow that we get going forward is going to be classified as a spring snow. And those cumulus cold air advection clouds are freckling the sky on another very dynamic day in the neighborhood. It's not one thing, it's another, but there's always more and more and more. It's a Friday thing, cold air advection on a Friday morning. Even though when it happens early in the morning, the sun this time of year doesn't get that cold. Feel the dew point going down though. And look at that tide rushing in here day after the new moon. And the first block set right now. Getting the first block perfectly positioned is key. And then you can kind of just set your course from there. If it's anything like shingling or bricklaying. Did work in construction 100 years ago, so to speak. Looks like they've got it in position. You're unhooking it. Tweaking it a tiny bit, and you got it tweaking. cutting off several of the metal braces. Faster than I can move. Alright, first block is set. Fourth Friday in a row with cold, windy weather. But it's the last day of February, so it's a lot warmer than the last 4 Fridays. An hour away from high tide, and the sediment that's being stirred up appears to be flowing against the tide with the wind, so that's interesting. So the wave action from west to east negating the incoming current, but also a lot of times when the current comes in, there's going to be a reverse eddy, and that can happen also. Working up against the high tide right down there. Luciano, and then Jim getting ready to set the third block of the day.
Then after my own heart, right there, walking above the rail.
So you do the social and the media.
Yes, I do.
For Luciano. What's your name? Where you from?
Jay Soares. I'm from Dighton, Massachusetts.
All right, Jay. Nice to meet you. Tim Kelly from South Dennis.
Nice to meet you, Tim.
And you had the camera right on the front of the excavator.
Yep, this is the new.
I'm gonna get around the other side of you.
This is the new Insta360 X4. See if we can sync these up here.
And so now you're downloading the data right to your phone right this second?
So this syncs them through Wi-Fi, and then we'll be able to review some of the footage that we got.
There's you and me on the Insta360, and then there's what you just made a tape of. Looks like Luciano inside the cab.
Yeah, and as soon as it loads, I should be able to spin the view around to see the grapple.
Right. So is that lens on both sides, or what?
Yep.
Gotcha.
These things take a beating. That's why I got this cage on there, and got extra lens protectors on there as well.
What do you mean they take a beating? I can't understand why. So this is the footage you just made a couple seconds ago, huh?
Yes, sir.
And you can spin it around so you can see inside the machine and what the Luciano's doing right down there, right now.
Then you can set the different views. So like if you wanted to focus on just the bucket, you can go into the editing, and it's called the deep track.
He's editing with his thumb. Jay, you got it down.
And then it'll track just the grapple the entire time. It's pretty cool.
Very cool. What's Luciano's handle?
You can find Luciano's excavation on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and LinkedIn.
Okay, YouTube, that's where I'm going. Instagram, maybe. Yep, I'm on YouTube and X primarily. Nice. How about the high tide right in the middle of the day? It's the new moon tide too, so it goes extra high.
The
But
only thing I came to do. I gotta go to office now.
oh, your favorite part of your day?
Yes, sir.
No. He told me the other day that he doesn't like the office.
He knows.
I like it out here too. Even if it is windy, it's always colder somewhere else. Nothing stands a chance. Nothing stands a chance against this wind today. Alright, so we missed the time lapse of that probably. Well, my flag was tied up around the S and the W, and I was getting it off that while they were doing that, and my W flew off. Friday wind was everything it could be. Which way is the wind from? Yeah. This flew off. 2:30. It looks like the wind is slacking back down a little bit, and I just watched them place, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I think that's the 15th block, and they just tweaked it up about 1/4 of an inch, and you get levels, and this is some precise placement. It's the 2:30 fur ball update. Every day they're right there at 2:30, but not every day. You have 7,600 pound blocks going by the window. The forsythia that they ripped out, I grabbed some, brought it in. It's about to bloom this weekend. Then they gotta just tweak it, straighten it. They're just doing a tremendous job. For the record, I just slipped on ice. I'm still slipping on ice, but no new ice in the bucket. Quarter to 3, that's a wrap for today. Looks like about 80% of the first row of blocks are set. They're picking up the tools, calling it a day on a Friday. That's the best time, calling it a day on Friday. Good job. Thanks, team. Okay, it's past 4. It was so windy today. Put the bird feeder down there. Mr. and Mrs. Cardinal. Next to the TK Glacier. There's Mr. Cardinal. Where was Mrs. Cardinal? She was just there a second ago. Steve can't wait to go outside. 5:20, the concluding out the door of the day. Whoa. And look at that. As the equipment was moving today, kind of caused the slide of the concourse on the old ice that's under there. So we still have some old ice under there, which I've already talked about. And the sun's already over the horizon. Had to free the flag once today. And how many blocks did we lay? Well, I've already counted them, haven't I? So it's the end of the day. didn't go far from the ranch today. And so just play us out with a couple of time lapse. Let's see what happened on Cape Cod. We had ice out on Fallons Pond a week ago. Bass River. Time lapse. Probably a lot of blue sky is my guess. And white caps on Fallons Pond. And then this incoming warm front. Another warm front. Cold front, warm front, cold front, warm front. And here in Weymouth, also, clouds are racing in. Precipitation mostly missing us to the north. But we had blue sky, minimal cold air advection cumulus, and then these warm air advection cirrus stratus lowering sky. The tide was very low, came up, now it's very low again. And so that's that for our Friday. Have a good Saturday. See you again tomorrow.